American University in Cairo, I was designing the Koç University. When people contacted me for American University in Cairo, they had heard about Koç University. And maybe they knew about my background on the Ahan too. And they wanted me to participate in a design competition for the American University in Cairo. And I told them, I said, look, my office is small, and this is going to cost a lot of money, and I am not sure that I would be willing to participate in it. They spent 12 months or 9 months to decide. They started with 60 firms, and they reduced it to then 25 firms, and my name was still on it. I still said, I'm not sure I can participate. They reduced it 6 firms.
Okay.
I said, and they said, give us your design philosophy. I gave the design philosophy, exactly what I'm telling you these days. I wrote to them that the architecture would be like this.
Okay.
They sent another letter again to all the 6 firms. And they said that this is the design brief. You have to design the competition. When I read the design brief, out of the 6 pages they had put there, 4 pages what I had written to them. And then I noticed that we will win it because they want my design philosophy and nobody else has that.
Right.
So I said, we will participate.
Okay.
And we participated in that.
Okay.
It was very expensive. And I had a lot of firms who were willing to cooperate with me, the structural firm, the mechanical firm, because we had to give a complete design. They all agreed to volunteer their services. And if we win, they would get their share of the project because they were probably confident that we would win. And then I participated in it. This was initially 2 million square feet. Now it's a lot more. Was for 7,000 students and faculty. It's now 10,000 student faculty. And what I did, I had introduced a design, a programming firm, the same programming firm that did the program for Koç University. Okay. And sure enough, they used that programming firm. And the program came in the form of about 80 to 100 different buildings. Okay. And what I did was something that was, and I asked my team to become completely familiar with everything in Cairo. All the background of Egyptian culture, from the time of the pharaohs to the Islamic period. Take pictures of everything, understand the music, the literature, and so on, to the extent that they could, of course. We spent a lot of time doing that. And so finally, I said, I assigned a team, part of the team, to dissect all of the programs, regardless of what school they belong to. Divide up all the spaces that attract a lot of crowd, all spaces that attract little crowd, all spaces that are conducive to contemplation, or like classrooms or seminar rooms or laboratories, all spaces that require very high specificity, functional specificity, like laboratories. And then we had all of these organized. It took a lot of effort. See, not every firm can do that. It costs a lot of money. I had little overhead because I had a small office. I could do it. And then what I did is that I asked, and I told my team members, anybody on this team that for design of this project refers to Piazza San Marco or to Capitolio in Rome is fired. All references should be to the historic examples of Cairo or in the general region. It could be India, it could be Iran, but no references to any European origin, because I don't want their minds to become tangled up with something that they have been indoctrinated with in school. Plans of all of these historic spaces in Egypt. The Ibn Tulun Mosque, the Mausoleum of Sultan Hassan, the Shah Square in Isfahan, the mosque in Cairo, the great mosque in Fez. These spaces, open spaces.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
We had all of these, and Al Azhar, of course, important open space in Cairo, and also the plan of two very important space for movement, Avenue Moez in Cairo. This is a historic rendering of Avenue Moez, and also their existing facility in Cairo, the existing American University in Cairo, across from the big square there, the Tahrir Square, where the revolution happened. I directed my team to develop collages of all of these spaces. They developed 10, 12 collages.
Okay.
Forgetting about the program, only the spaces, historic spaces. They put it together. I looked at it and I said, this is going to be the basis for the university in Cairo. So now we had to develop a big space for the accumulation of 6,000-7,000 students, and smaller spaces for different functions, spaces for movement, spaces for contemplation, spaces for recreation, spaces for inspiration, and so on. And we came up with this design. This is the rendition of that collage. You see the middle is a huge space, a lot of other spaces, and in here you have entry space for the campus. Welcoming entry space for the campus. On the right-hand side, you see a space, that's the entry. Then next to it, you see a long avenue, which is space for movement, to the first courtyard, and then to smaller courtyards on its side, and then to the main courtyard in the middle. Do you see the main courtyard in the middle? And then next to that, in front of that courtyard, is a huge building, the library. Unfortunately, in those days, libraries were very important. Now they are not anymore. You had to keep them separate. You have to make sure they expand. You don't have to do that anymore. Libraries are becoming smaller and smaller. Yeah. Anyway, based on this model, we developed this. This is Avenue Moez.
Okay.
You see, and based on that model and Avenue Moez, we developed this. Came the model for the university, based on the idea of continuous architecture that surrounds the spaces rather than isolated buildings that stand apart from him. And you see that this is not Istanbul. This is not Istanbul. This is not Karachi. This is Cairo. Mm-hmm. And you can see, even in this model, you can see the character, it's Egyptian character. And then on one side, I put a park in front, and in the back, I put the parking. And the back side of the model are function-specific spaces like laboratories, but the rest of them are function-flexible spaces. And nobody else had done this. One of the basic principles I have for a campus of 10,000 is that from one end to another, you should be able to walk in 10 minutes, and you can.
Beautiful.
By making it dense like that, they can walk in 10 minutes. No cars in the campus. It's the same. That is true of the Al-Khan University. That's true of Koç University also. But others developed a lot of separate buildings. They took 10 times more space than I had taken.
Yeah.
You see right now on this one, do you see the entry to the campus?
Yeah.
Okay. And we won. Hands down, by international jury, we won this competition. But after we won, the client the American University client has assigned to work with us, in my opinion, was the corruptest person in the world. Well, they built this university like this. But what happened is that this individual got every Tom, Dick, and Harry, including so many people got involved, because I don't know what his ulterior motive was. He wanted to have his person who gave him his PhD involved. He was a prominent architect who had lost the project and was very upset he lost the project, and wanted to have to have Sasaki, who associated with his friend gain the project. So from the very beginning, he kept to have consultants when he meets with us, and he brought these two firms to our meetings. And I was very upset about that because it took away from our credibility. The construction documents, and when it got to development design drawings, I declined to participate because they had increased the design fee, not for us, but the total design fee that the client had to pay to about 10 times what I thought it should be. I had given much smaller figure. At this project was very political. So anyway, you can see some pictures of it right now. Yeah, you see, this is the interior courtyards, but I don't know why they had to do such historic replication and copying like this. Do you see that archway? Or all of these little things. I mean, the structure and the look of it is very much like we have, but it's corrupted, by some other same thing,
Okay.
It doesn't have the integrity and the harmony that I have at Koç University and even at the Al Khan University. Yeah, these are the gardens on the outside of it. So this is really a short review of American University in Cairo. If you are interested, I can show a couple of small projects in America, and you see how different it is and how it reflects the character of the area in America.
That would you like to give some advice to the generation of architects, upcoming generation of architects?
Yes, I have very little to say. I've gotten old, and probably people think that my views may be worth it or not, but I believe strongly in them. My advice is to the university professors and to the dean of the schools of architecture. Change your curriculum.
Wow.
Put it on the right path.
Very important.
That is not the way to teach architecture. To teach architecture is to develop cultured men who appreciate the significance of different cultures in the world and give them an exterior expression with complete respect and humility. They should not courses should not be in a way that architects feel they are heroes of the world, and without very little experience, they want to impose their ego on the people. That's to the deans of the schools. To the architects, please look at the reality of the project and try to discover it and express it with love and enthusiasm and free from your ego gratification. Because if you give proper expression to the different cultures of the user, that is the greatest satisfaction to your ego anyway. And don't put so much emphasis on the functional specificity of the spaces, because your project very soon becomes obsolete. Form follows function is only good to a certain extent for very specific areas, even in those cases, not 100%, like laboratories and operating rooms. They should be able to change function. And also forget about this idea of less is best, minimalist architecture, no surface treatment. Don't exaggerate surface treatments, but they are appropriate because less is not best, less is a bore.